Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to another Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jacula.
And we just got done watching the American adaptation of Death Note on Netflix.
Yeah.
I went into this movie really fucking skeptical because even though I love Adam Wingard, who directed this movie, I love The Guest. I liked his Blair Witch movie. I liked You're Next.
Yeah.
He's a really solid filmmaker. I was little worried about the fact that it's an adaptation of a manga and those don't have the greatest reputation.
Yeah, American adaptations of mangas don't tend to be very good.
Exactly. And on top of that, like the Death Note live action adaptations don't have the greatest reputation overall.
No.
Not surprising because it's kind of hard to do things like Ryuk in live action.
It is, yeah. Those Japanese ones are actually just boring.
On top of that, there was the whole whitewashing casting controversy, which technically not whitewashing, but more like not Asian washing.
Basically, like you've got they made Light and Mia white, and they made L black.
Yeah,
which was here's the thing: of all the characters changing their race, the one that for me was like, I don't know how that's gonna work, was L. So I was like, Light can be whatever race you need him to be or want him to be, because there's nothing so culturally intrinsic about Light that can't be translated.
He just needs to be a nerdy megalomaniac. That's pretty much
basically it. That's kind of universal. L, on the other hand, is such a Japanese character that I didn't know.
From his mannerisms, the way he speaks, the way he communicates, even the way he's written.
Yeah.
And the way he acts, super Japanese. And casting him as not Japanese is legitimately disconcerting. But then the trailer came out and I watched the trailer and I'm like, it looks pretty good.
Well, yeah, you get to that Willem Dafoe part where Willem Dafoe is Ryuk and you're like, oh shit, man, that looks amazing.
Looks really good. Looks like Death Note. I mean, looks can be deceiving.
Yeah.
I have seen many trailers where I'm like, it looks like the thing. And then you watch it and it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I remember I was tricked by the original Avatar: The Last Airbender trailer, and then I saw the movie, and
no, that was
But we finally, a couple weeks later, watched the Death Note movie after
finally
its
bit
release.
the bullet,
and I don't know how to describe it, but I liked the movie even though it's a complete mess.
Yes.
It reminds me of Suicide Squad, but maybe a little better than Suicide Squad.
It holds together a little bit better than Suicide Squad. But the reason it's a mess all comes down to Death Note, the movie, because you're like, whoa, the thing about Death Note is that it's a slow burn. It's a creeper.
A lot of the changes they do don't bother me, but what does bother me is that because there's parts of it that stick so close to the manga and there's parts of it that not, when it deviates from the manga, I feel like I wish it was a miniseries so that we could actually watch it evolve into that.
Yes.
As opposed to in this, like, for example, there's certain characters that are spot on. They're at the way they are in the manga, and then in the movie, they are like that for the first half, and in the second half, they become a completely different character.
Yeah.
And that would be okay if you could show them turning into this new character better.
Yeah.
But in a movie, you don't have much time to do that, and you have all this other things you're juggling, too.
Yeah, you have a really big plot that you're juggling.
And as a result of that, like, most of the major plot points in this are done in montages, and it's kind of like Suicide Squad, where it feels like the movie's, like, stitched together with a series of montages, like...
Yeah, that definitely happens. But with that said, it's actually a pretty good movie in and of itself. But if you're, like, a fan of the original... The problem is the things that they keep are way more distracting than the things that they changed.
Yes. You kind of wish it just did its own thing because everything it does that's different is the stuff that tends to work the most for me.
Yeah.
And everything they did that was really close to the manga, with the exception of Ryuk.
Yeah, with the exception of Ryuk, he's completely 100% the same character.
And the movie's better for that.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, everything else, like... I like the changes they made. I like this version of Death Note. I just wish it didn't have so much stuff that was trying to stick close to the other one because it didn't feel like it didn't feel like it fit anymore.
Yeah, like L is the prime example of that, because
he starts off pretty much, with the exception of being black.
Yeah.
He starts off pretty spot on to his manga and anime counterpart. And then halfway through shifts into something completely different. And that would be okay, but you don't feel like you have enough time to watch him evolve into that.
Yeah. The ironic thing is once he becomes this slightly different character, he works.
Yeah.
And whereas when they're trying to stick really close to the original manga one in the first half of his arc, everything that reminds you of manga L and anime L is completely distracting, because you're like, why isn't he just Asian?
Yeah, you are asking that question a lot.
Yeah, it makes it's really, really distracting.
They even start off with him in Japan at some point, and we're not even in spoilers yet, so like that's not a spoiler. And you're like, wait, if you're just gonna start him off in Japan,
he has the same origin as the manga and the anime. He starts in Japan. It's a big deal, and you're like, why isn't he just an Asian guy?
I have no idea.
You know, and I think, and if the only reason is because we want to do the whole light versus dark thing,
I think that's what they were going for. And
it probably was.
It visually works, though. There is when you have them sitting next to each other and like facing off 1-to-1, like it visually works.
Yeah, but if we're just gonna have L in this big dark hoodie anyway,
true, that's also true.
Why does he actually need to be black? And with that said, the sad thing is the actor who plays L
great.
Nailed him.
He's fantastic.
It just doesn't look right.
I liked all the acting in this movie. I honestly
the acting was actually really good.
You know, like I thought the guy playing L is playing, or the guy playing Light is playing a completely different Light. But I like the character.
Yeah.
Like he's still an ass. He's still an egomaniac, but he's a different kind of one. He's a little bit more of like the American entitled nerd. And I kind of like them playing with that.
Yeah.
Was it Mia or
Mia?
Mia. Yeah. Mia. I like this version of Mia. She's kind of like the epitome of the girls in high school I used to be attracted to.
Yeah,
but could never had a chance with.
Yeah, they made her like an American goth girl as opposed to a Japanese lolly.
Absolutely, the kind of girl who's like at cheerleading practice smoking a cigarette and flipping people off, and I'm just like, okay, I immediately like this character.
It was a really good change, because like you couldn't do the original Mia outside of Japan; it wouldn't work.
That's another very Japanese character.
Yeah.
I liked Light's father. I liked.
Oh my god!
Williem Dafoe is amazing in this.
Oh god, yeah.
I like the fucking handler, like L's handler, like
Watari.
That actor was great, and there's even like a great little cameo of Hero from Heroes.
Yes,
that guy's in this movie for a quick, brief little like clip, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm glad they.
Yeah. He plays like the Japanese detective in the fucking shootout that we meet L in this version of the story.
And I just like the acting's great. The acting's phenomenal. The editing's all over the place because it's trying to condense the entirety of Death Note with some changes in one movie. And halfway through, it just completely throws the script away and just does its own thing.
Yeah. Once it does that, it all comes together.
Yeah.
But up until that moment, real fucking choppy, because you feel like you're watching like 3 different movies at once.
Absolutely. That being said, visually the movie's gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
Adam Wingard does the same stuff he did with The Guest, like the beautiful colors and the kind of 80s synth score, and all that stuff works.
Oh yeah, no,
that stuff's fantastic, and the kills are all great. And there's another thing I really liked about this movie, but I'm noticing that other people who hate the movie aren't picking up on it. Adam Wingard's sense of humor is all over this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So there are scenes I've seen people make fun of, oh, this looks really stupid. And I'm just like, you do realize that scene's supposed to be funny. And it is. Yeah. We're sitting there laughing our asses off when it happens. Yeah.
The first Death Note kill that you see is supposed to be funny.
Well, the other scene that everyone's making fun of is the scene where Light first sees Ryuk and freaks out.
Yeah.
In the original anime, he sees Ryuk and is just like, oh, who are you? You know? Yeah. But in the movie, he literally freaks out like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, he totally flips.
And when I saw the clip isolated, when it was put on Twitter and shit like that, I'm like, oh yeah, this does look kind of awful. But then when I saw it in the context of the movie, I realized, you're supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
You're supposed to laugh at the way he's acting. It is supposed to be funny, and it works.
Yeah, it was.
And so I was actually kind of mad at Twitter after that, because I was just
they didn't get it. They didn't get it.
That clip out of context can kiss my ass. Like, it's like, that was actually really funny. And I'm sitting there going like, I'd probably react the same way.
Well, yeah. I mean, like that I think that was kind of the idea. Because Ryuk is so, it was a perfect introduction to Ryuk, because like it really got across the fact that he has this horrifically black sense of humor.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the other thing, like watching this movie, like Adam Wingard is Ryuk. Like he's laughing his ass off throughout the entire movie, and you can tell.
Yeah. There are a lot. Yeah, it's as if it's like as if the Death Note Netflix film was actually written by Ryuk himself in several places.
One of the big changes they do make, though, and this really isn't a spoiler because this becomes very clear right away, is that this was way more Light and Mia's movie than just Light's story.
Oh yeah.
This is way more those two as a couple causing death and destruction and trying to be these would-be god heroes, as opposed to just the one of them doing it and the other one tagging along.
Yeah. It's much more Light and Mia as a couple.
And actually,
very different from.
It's very different, but I actually liked it because it gave Mia way more personality, in my opinion.
Well, it made her actually relevant to the story.
She had agency, so to speak.
Yeah,
Well,
she had something to do with the overall plot outside of just this kind of sidetrack.
And since you weren't going to do the stuff that they do with her later on, I was actually kind of fine with what they did.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
because you just don't have the time.
Yeah, if we're not going to do all that stuff, then it doesn't matter. But with that said, I agree. It should have been a 6 or 12.
Yeah, if this was a 12-episode Netflix series, it doesn't have to be multiple seasons. Just one season.
Yeah, just one Lou.
This story stretched out to 12 episodes. I think it would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But because it feels like a 12-episode series condensed into one movie, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
You can follow what happens, but this movie is kind of defined by the phrase, well, that escalated quickly.
Well, because you have all these little moments that are rushed through that you're like, I feel like that needed more time to develop. Like, hey, Elle's whole theory about how Light needs your face and your name. Yeah. It would have been nice to have a scene of him figuring it out, but you also understand why you don't, is because you have all these other scenes you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when Elle figures that out in the manga, it takes him a while. It takes him, the better part of, 3 episodes to figure that out. Mm-hmm. That's already an hour and a half.
Yeah, but he's already figured it out by the time the movie starts, and it feels a little rushed, and there's so many things like that.
Yeah, because he just tells you. Because he's just like, no, I figured out that blah, 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 and you're like, how did you know that? And they do explain how he knows that, but the problem is you're like, wait, what?
And there's a lot of little things like that throughout the movie. Plus, like I said, half the movie's a montage.
That was a problem.
The kills are great. I love the murders when they happen. I love the way he shoots some of them in the movie, where it's just like television footage and the one kill that happens where it's all done as if it's like a newspaper clipping.
Yeah,
but it's all shot like that, but it's moving. I like that one.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good stuff like that.
I guess it's time for us to get to the spoilers and shit like that, because I would recommend this movie mainly if you're an Adam Wingard fan. If you're a Death Note fan and you're really attached to the manga, you're probably gonna be pissed off with most of my friends.
You're probably gonna not like it, because it changes so much.
I love Death Note, but I wasn't so attached that I wasn't willing to accept changes if it worked as a movie.
Yeah, that was where I was.
And some of it does work, and some of it doesn't.
Yeah, the thing that works, hands down, bar none, Willem Dafoe's worked 100%. It never didn't work. It always worked.
That was perfect. That was spot on. I would watch a million movies with Willem Dafoe as Ryu.
Oh my god, yes.
All right, so let us move on to the spoilers.
Where should we start?
I don't know. We're gonna have to tread a little bit lightly though, because it's been so long since I've read the manga or watched the anime that some of the changes, I'm not even sure if they were changes or not.
I know what you mean.
But some of them are obvious. Everything that happens with Elle halfway into the movie is completely different.
Yeah, it's a completely different story. If you're worried that it'll be a retread of the anime and manga, it is not.
No.
Absolutely
the the first 20 or so minutes does scenes from the manga in its own way, and then after that it slowly starts to like do its own thing as it goes on. Now that being said, even though it does scenes from the manga, as that juxtaposition of the anime scene of him meeting Ryuk and the movie scene shows, they're still very different.
Yeah.
They're still very different in their approaches.
Yeah, I think the biggest change is who dies at the end.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because it's almost the opposite of the way it goes in the manga and the anime.
Well, because like you have the manga where you have Light seemingly defeating L.
Yeah.
But then it turns out L had all these other pieces in place, and in the end, Light dies. You know?
Yeah, he is killed as a result.
Now, granted, that's not the actual end. It keeps going. But that's the end of the Light story.
Yeah. Yeah, Death Note has that other ancillary story where it's like we go into L's past posthumously and almost psychic kids are there. It's weird.
But in this movie, neither of them die.
Yeah, they both live.
On screen.
Yes.
Neither of them die. And because of how much shit is condensed, the cat and mouse game for the movie, between them, is basically like 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And then the rest is L losing his mind, which he completely losing his cool and becoming really emotional and chasing Light. And
that's when that character started to work.
That's when he became the American version and not the original version.
Yeah. And when he was no longer Japanese L, and I was like, I wish we had just started here, because then I wouldn't have been distracted by the fact that he's not Japanese. You know, although
if we had like immediately established that he had like emotional issues or something like that.
Yeah, something.
Well, because you kind of wanted like they keep doing the reoccurring like you need sleep thing. You kind of wanted that to come back at the end, and it really doesn't.
Yeah, it really didn't. You know, it had a payoff, but it wasn't really a payoff.
It was somewhat of a payoff, but it wasn't like it felt like that should have been something that like. Because you don't really get... You have that great scene in the manga and the anime, the final scene when L dies.
Yeah.
The final confrontation between Light and L. You don't really get that scene in this.
No, you don't. No,
you don't really get that. You have the scene where he confronts them leading up to it, but you don't actually have that scene. And... I don't know, I kind of like the way the movie ends, but you do feel like something's missing.
Yeah. Like, that's a big... That's the consistent issue with the movie, which is you're like, it works. Now, bear in mind, we're talking about whether it works as a movie in and of itself.
As a movie in and of itself, like, it's stitched together with fucking duct tape and hope.
Yeah.
But it does kind of work.
Yeah, it does work. It's just that I don't know how to say it.
As an adaptation of Death Note, I can understand why people are mad.
Yeah, because it's a completely different story.
Very different.
You know, the love story aspect is almost absent, and that doesn't happen in the anime.
As its own movie, I love the whole like kind of Bonnie and Clyde thing that kind of got going on, and how it all falls apart.
Yeah, because in this one, the love story between Mia and Light. First of all, there is a love story between Mia and Light, and second of all, it's one of the major arcs.
Basically, the main plot. Like L is the B plot at this point.
Yeah, he kind of is. You know?
Because the final confrontation isn't between him and L. It's between him and her.
It's between Light and Mia. That's the final confrontation. That's the real one.
Yeah. And the other how do I put this? Kind of lost my train of thought, to be honest.
Well, one of the things I know I wanted to bring up was the fact that a lot of people complained that there wasn't a lot of Ryuk in this movie. I don't know what you're talking about. He's all over this film.
He keeps popping up.
And,
and I love the way they do it, where they have him like blurred out in the background sometimes, and sometimes you get a really good look at him, but he's always in shadow. Like he's never fully visible, and I kind of like that they do that.
Yeah, every time you like see his face, he's always in shadow.
But you do get a good look.
Yeah, you do. You can get a good look at what he looks like, and it looks so cool.
I didn't know that they were going to be doing it so practically, where he has like a full-on suit and like just like a CGI'd face.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be the voice of Willem Dafoe. No, it turns out he's actually like in a motion capture rig on set.
Great. Like if it was him or if it was a stuntman, either way, they did a great job. And Willem Dafoe pulled a big.
Oh my god, it was perfect. Yeah.
God, like I guess God, I wish I could remember what I was going to say. It had something to do with Light and L that I'm completely spacing out on now.
The relationship between Light and L is very weird. Like I said before, I kept getting distracted by every that was like the original character.
Yeah.
Like he does the perching, he does this. He eats the same type of candy that he eats in the fucking original.
Is it M&M's? I can't remember.
No. They're these little Japanese hard candies.
Yeah, that's right.
That's sort of like jelly beans.
Yeah.
And and every time they did that, I was like, why isn't he just Asian? It doesn't make any sense.
That is a big glaring hole in the movie. Is that?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, because if you're gonna put, like I said before, if you're gonna put L in a fucking black hoodie anyway, you've already got light and dark. So
yeah.
He doesn't need to be black at that point.
That's also true.
But of course, like I said, the problem with that is the guy actually plays him, nailed the character.
Yeah, he did. He did do a
fucking nailed him.
We can tell why they casted him.
Yeah. This is one of those cases where the race of the actor actually kind of matters to the interpretation, despite the fact that the actor pulled the character off flawlessly otherwise.
Yeah. No qualms on him.
Oh God, no. Put that guy in more shit. Holy shit, yeah. He was great.
Hell yeah. I didn't mind. I didn't mind changing Light. Because I felt like setting it in America and making him be this kind of entitled nerdy white boy, in this context it actually worked.
Well, yeah, if you were going to set it in America, he had to be an American. Mm-hmm. And like I said, nothing about L is so fucking about Light is so inherently Japanese that
if I said L, I apologize. I'm a little tired.
Yeah. But really the best stuff was when they kind of went off the original script and it became about Light and Mia and their relationship.
Oh, I love that.
That worked really well.
Their little Bonnie and Clyde, them falling apart, and I don't know, it's just
even twist at the end.
I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say if you're a fan of the manga, it does mean that they make her more of the bad guy than Light.
Yes.
Now that's a huge departure from the manga because in the manga, Light is full on by the end of that story.
Megalomaniacal villain.
Awful.
Yeah, he's
Boogie destroyer of worlds.
Yeah,
he's
Woogie destroyer of worlds.
Woogie destroyer of worlds. That's essentially what he is.
He holds in the manga. He holds the fucking United Nations hostage.
Now, Light is still a bad guy. No questions asked in this story, but Mia is the villain of this movie.
Yes. Yeah, that's the big reveal. That's one of the big twists.
Now, that will rub some people the wrong way, and I completely understand why.
Yeah, because if you wanted to see the character Mia on the screen from the original, you don't get that. You don't get that at all.
No, not in the slightest.
She's completely fucking different. The only thing that is the same is that she is obsessed with Light.
Yeah.
Everything else is fucking different.
Oh, man. I don't know. Kind of losing track of things to talk about.
Well, it's much like the movie in some parts where it just feels like it's so. I give this on a grade. I give it a solid B.
Yeah, a B or a high C.
Yeah, worth watching. Mm-hmm. It's very obvious. It's very easy to see all the places where it could have been brought up to a perfect score.
If you're really invested in Death Note, don't bother.
No.
If you're really invested in it, you're just going to be mad. Trust me.
Yeah, but if you're a casual viewer and just want to see what Adam Wingard does with it, then definitely watch it.
If you're an Adam Wingard fan, you should just watch it anyway.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, it's not his best film by far. The Guest is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think his best is The Guest.
The Guest is the best. Your Next is really fucking good. This would probably be below all of those.
Yeah.
But it does have a lot of Adam Wingard goodness. I love what he does with colors. I love what he does with the music cues. It was partially heartbreaking, but also hilarious. The music cue at the end when they're falling off of the fucking Ferris wheel and that music hits. I started laughing, but I was also just kind of like, "Aw."
Yeah. Well, you got the feeling that was the point.
Yeah. Well, that's Adam Wingard.
Yeah.
Adam Wingard, like, so many people watch You're Next and don't get that it's partially a horror comedy.
Yeah.
Because Adam Wingard just infused that movie with his dark sense of humor, and this is filled with it. Probably more so than
every Death Note kill is filmed like a punchline.
Yes, exactly. You can feel it.
The first one, the fucking guy's head comes off is amazing.
It's great. It's fucking great. I love that it's all practical gore.
Oh yeah. Oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. I fucking and he shows you a thing that you don't see in movies too often, and you almost never see it done well, which is when someone jumps off a building actually and watching them hit pavement is usually extremely unsatisfying. Yeah. It's extremely satisfying in this movie.
It's great in this movie. Well, you got the feeling that you're just like, oh, you probably didn't even need to get this movie rated since you're gonna be on Netflix.
Yeah, just there you go. This is the movie.
I did like that.
Yes.
You didn't have that thing that a lot of movies, even R-rated movies, have, where you feel like the gore is being like sugar-coated or cut around. Like this is just all on screen, and I was like,
this
be still my being hard.
Really beautiful. Fucking just.
I'm still looking forward to his Godzilla vs. King Kong movie.
And I'm like, oh yeah.
I'm like,
oh no, that's gonna be great.
I don't know how he's gonna justify the neon lighting and shit like that in that movie.
He'll figure it out, man. He'll do something else. Or
I want Godzilla with like reds and blues and shit. All
yeah, exactly. Just like Godzilla nightclub. How are we gonna do it? I don't know. But we gotta justify, man. We gotta do this.
Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell if it's still there. I don't know.
That fucking changed the YouTube website. Jesus Christ, man.
So I don't know if it's still there, but if it's still there, be sure to ring it, I guess. And I'll put some sort of Amazon affiliate link in the description below, and you can click it if you want.
Yeah.
And with all that said, peace out, my fellow gorehounds, and I'll catch y'all later.